Um, Till then, we'll just get started with what the topic is. I think your topic is wonderful, and we quite enjoyed the way you took us through the nostalgic journey of watching TV together and what it is today. I don't have any stories to share. It's going to be more about execution of marketing. We do not do marketing, but I wanted to be here because we do user experience design. I'll introduce user experience design a little bit later when this starts. But the topic here essentially is how do you integrate user experience design into marketing? How does that marriage happen? Okay, till this is still getting on. I'll give you a brief background about myself and what we do. I started this venture called Techved Consulting. We are a user experience design group. We consult to companies like Naukri.com, magicbrick.com, trendin.com. So anybody who's a .com is who we consult with, and or they consult with us. And our consultation is around what kind of user interface would drive conversions online. Where should your buy button be? What color should your buy button be? How long should your registration page be? These are questions that marketeers or product guys often struggle with. That, what should my field be called? How many characters should I allow people? Are people right-handed, left-handed? Do you do a device jumping very often? Do you make them, when they're filling a form, for example, use a keyboard at certain instances, and the next field is a mouse, the next field is again a keyboard, which we call device jumping. So have you thought about all that? So we typically think about all this when we're designing. How much time did the user take when he was registering? Can we reduce that time? Can we reduce the number of clicks, etc., which largely compose of what is called user experience design. What's his experience when he gets on something, and what's his experience when he walks out? Did you fill him with awe? Was that awe awesome or awful? So, is what we design. Is this going to take longer? Time lagega? Okay, I think it doesn't support Mac. Can you give me the pen drive? I've got a pen drive. आपके पास वो है क्या? Spare laptop? I have the connector. नहीं, इसमें है प्रेजेंटेशन. आपके पास लैपटॉप है? हाँ, तो उसमें डाल दीजिए. हाँ. So that's what we call a bad user experience. When the user is trying to do something, he is really not able to do it. I'm the poor user in this case. Do you have it? Yeah. Okay, we've got it this time. He's just getting the laptop. Okay, cool. Okay, that was me, already introduced. Can you switch that? Can you cross that bottom right pop-up? Yeah, okay. What we're going to talk about today is how do we use user experience into digital marketing. Like I said, I'm not a marketing background. I'm an architecture background, by the way. But we'll try and marry these and see how they work together. I'm going to talk a lot about execution and how user experience is, and perhaps there'll be a takeaway for all of you for marketing from there. What is UX design? So this is a picture that I took in Australia. I found it very interesting. And this is an interactive session. This is not a one-way. I don't want to feel like a teacher. What do you think about this picture? What is this picture? Of course, it's a picture of medicines that are packed. Is there anything that's unique about this picture? Yeah. So let me turn this around a little bit. Who is the largest user of medicines? The elderly. The old people are the largest user of medicines. What is the biggest problem they have? Correct, memory, right? So you must have seen your grandmoms and granddads often say, "Lal wali dawai subah, peeli wali dopahar ko." You know, that's how they remember, and they often forget if they've even had their medicine. So memory is the largest problem with the old people, and old people being the largest consumer. I'm surprised nobody else has ever thought of a solution like this. So this is how they give you the medicine there. When the doctor prescribes medicine, the chemist would give it packaged like this, which clearly tells you what medicine is to be taken in the morning, what's in the afternoon, what's in the evening. So you not only know when to take which medicine, you also know which medicine you've missed, so if you've missed anything, right? So it solved two problems by just simple packaging, and that is what is user experience. So what is the experience for your consumer when he's consuming the product that you're designing? So UX design and digital marketing. First, a little difference in both. What is marketing? This is my opinion, don't hold me for it. Marketing is about making people want things, right? Is there any contradiction to that? Now, what is user experience? It is about making things that people want, and that is the difference, right? Do we agree? So largely when marketers talk, they talk about how do we make people want our products. When we talk, or when user experience designers talk, we talk how do we make things that people would be able to use. So that is the difference, but there are a whole lot of similarities between both, which we're going to talk about now. So both, in my opinion, user experience design and digital marketing are about innovation. Without innovation, they're both dead. Now, where does innovation come here? Innovation in our field is about how do we, so we are constantly researching, we are constantly going out to the consumers, conducting a whole lot of focus groups, whole lot of user researches to understand, for example, Naukri.com, what are people's problems. So we were doing a project which was Naukri Senior, which was, you know, we found out that Naukri.com doesn't have people beyond 4 or 5 years of experience, or has very limited people who are beyond that experience. We wanted to figure out why is that, and if there's a solution we can provide. When we went out and did the research, we found that yes, people do not want to go to Naukri beyond a certain experience level, because when I'm 6 years experience, I want people to hunt for me. I don't want to go there posting my resume, looking out for a job, right? So my entire mindset changed the moment I'm 6 years, 7 years experienced. So then, which means there was a product which was needed, which was Naukri Senior is what we had conceptualized, and I think there's some work going on there. Don't want to divulge all of that. But innovation is really the key, and innovation only comes when you go back to your users, understand what your consumers are saying. Engagement. They both need engagement. We do a whole lot of projects where clients come and say, you know, why don't you create something which is a foreign counterpart, like just copy this. But we can't do it, because the way we engage Indian consumer through our user experience and through your marketing is very different from the way an American company would want to engage their consumer, even if your target audience is the same. So engaging people and how do you engage them is very, very important. Measurement. You'd be surprised, a lot of our user experience design decisions are based on measurements. We are very, very analytically driven. We keep measuring what happened to the last registration form before we redesign another one. So for example, I don't have that page with me. There was we were doing something for a matrimonial site, and we had to place the register button somewhere because it's very important that people come and register on a matrimonial site. We had options, right? So we had the top header to put the to put the registration button. You have a login block on the home page where you could put the register button, and you could run a fancy banner with a register button. So what would your idea be? Where should the register button on the home page of a matrimonial site go? Should it be the header on the top? Should it be a banner, say center of the page? Or should it be where the login block is, where you say login, not a member, register? So where would you put your bets? We all take these decisions, right? The last option, which is with the registration, I mean the login block. Okay, how many say last option? That's not too many, okay. How many say the header? One, okay. And the center banner? Okay, and a lot of you don't say anything, which is also fine. Okay, so we did this, ran a lot of ran a lot of beta studies. We did it in the header and the registration block, and you know how business owners are, so it ends up being in all three places now. But what gets the maximum traffic, interestingly, is the header. And why is the header? Because top right is where people just naturally go to register or to log in, right? It's, look at a Yahoo, look at a Facebook, look at a Gmail, that's where it is. Gmail doesn't have it there, but most of the sites have it on the top right. So it's a very natural tendency for people to look at top right. It was followed by the login block. Login block again makes sense because it's very contextual. I'm trying to sign in. I'm not a member, so I just see the register there. And the third, actually the least, was the banner. Because banner is not what people see. Banner is usually an ad completely ignored. So measurement is what I'm saying is extremely critical to us, and I'm sure to marketeers. Value, what value are you bringing to users? In our business world, we often forget that we have to get value to the users. You know, we keep thinking what is the value that is getting to our business. But we have to rotate our thinking. We'll have to completely change our thinking to what value are you getting to the consumers. UX design and digital marketing, some questions that we need to answer. Now this is a set of questions that we usually answer when we're doing our user experience design, and all my marketing friends also love to sit with us and brainstorm and answer these questions with us. I just thought it would be good to share these questions. I'm sure a lot of you already use that as a methodology. We use it as a methodology sometimes to get to a solution. So I'm going to share 3 questions, and I want you guys to answer the difference before we set out. What are your goals? What do you want? What do you need? So these are 3 questions we try and answer, and in the same sequence that I showed it to you. What are your goals? What do you want? What do you need? Can we just, dwell a little bit more on this? What's the difference between these 3 questions? What is, what are your goals? What do you want versus what do you need? Anyone wants to just talk about it? What are your goals? So, what would that mean? If you're doing something and somebody asked you, so you're planning a marketing strategy, what are your goals? What would that mean? Increase revenue. Okay. What do you want to achieve? Okay. Sorry. What do you want then? How is that different from what is, and there is a difference.
So goal would be an objective.
Okay. And want?
Want is something which is more desirable, which may not be absolutely necessary. It is something over and above my objective of a measurable objective.
Okay, so you're saying, that's an interesting way of putting it. You're saying goal is the objective.
Goal is a specific measured objective.
Okay.
And want is, which is something desirable over and above probably that. That is what.
It would be nice to have that. Okay, and what do you need?
Need is something which is necessary, which is absolutely essential to have. It is
Okay.
different from want.
Okay, okay. So that's not the way we look at it, but that's an interesting way to look at it. Yes.
And the first one is what the goal is the what do you want is the how, and what do you need is the essential.
Absolutely. That's exactly how we look at it. He's put it well. So what are your goals is, what's your objective? What do you want is how would you achieve it? What do you need is, what do you need to achieve it? So I'll give you an example here. So take for example, your goal is to build a kids store or to market a kids store. You're coming up with a kids store. I'm talking of a physical store here or a virtual store. That's the goal, right? So when you start on a project or when we start on a project, we usually write down what our goal is. So say for here, our goal is to build a kids store. What do you want is, like he said, how do you achieve it? So for building a kids store, we start writing down, for marketing a kids store, we start writing down all the ideas that we have. One of the ideas could be engagement. We want to have creative stuff happening so that kids walk in. We want hobby store. All of that is what do you want to do, which is different from what my goal is. My goal is to market a kids store. What do you want is, now what do I do to achieve that? What do you need? So we further bifurcate our wants into what do I need for each of those wants. So if one of my wants was, or one of my ideas was, I'm going to start a hobby center in my kids store so that I attract more kids, what do I need for that? I need people who are craftspeople, people who play guitar, people who do drawing, etc. So I make an entire list of what you need. What you can afford. So you'd be surprised when you do this exercise, you would probably tick out a lot of things, and then you get into commercials of each of these needs, and you'll strike out a lot of these things which you think you can't afford or which you think you can afford. So things start getting more realistic by just following these questions and this process of goal followed by wants, followed by needs, followed by affording. Who are your consumers? A lot of people forget that the store is actually going to be visited by consumers. And the consumers may not just be kids, they'll be parents as well. So how do you engage both? I'm yet to see a store in India which is for kids, but it has engagement for parents as well. There isn't any, but I've seen a lot outside where parents would have things to do as well. So, there'd be a little cafe there when the kids are picking up what they want to buy. So the parents can spend some good time with maybe a friend when kids are busy buying for themselves. In India, you usually have parents pulling their kids out of the kids store because they want to go out and do something of their own. Right? So who are your consumers? Are they only kids? In fact, there's another interesting example that I have from the online world. Again, another matrimonial site, a very well-known matrimonial site. So who do you think is the consumer of a matrimonial site? Parents. Okay. So interestingly, if you see the analytics, it's 50% parents and 50% people who want metro, usually metro boys and girls who are looking for a spouse for themselves. Now the image that this matrimonial site had put on the page, on the home page, was a young boy and girl. One hand, the boy is holding the girl by the shoulder, and they're sitting and chatting, more like a dating picture. And now imagine an audience of a tier 2 parent. So there's a Nasik or a Jaipur or an Udaipur kind of parent, or South India parent coming and seeing this picture. What do you think is the image that they form in their minds? So it's not very comfortable. All that we did was we changed that image to an image of an actual married couple who's got married through the site, wearing their marriage attire. So now the whole aspirational value of the website became very, very different. When parents looked at it, they knew this is exactly how I want to see my daughter or my son. So, and just this picture made their registrations go up by about 10% or 10 or 12%, which was whoopingly high for them. And we went a stage further, because this is technology, so you can do that. We said, cache the person's IP. So the next time, so that when he visited, he was looking for a Christian couple or a Christian boy. Next time this boy, this person, whoever, parent or kid comes online, we show him a picture of a Christian married couple wearing a, their own marriage dress. Imagine the kind of customization that we've done in this world, and imagine the perception that he's now. So when I was, for example, a Christian, and I was looking at a Sardar married couple, it didn't strike a chord with me, although I thought, yes, married couple, good, that's what I want my daughter to be like. But the moment I see her wearing a white gown, and I relate to it much, much better, right? So to understand your consumers, and then the journey that you want your consumers to go through is very, very pertinent. So, you have to understand who your consumers are. Okay, some very quick tips. We keep hearing content, communication, very important. But I'm of the opinion content is king, but context is the queen. Please do not communicate out of context. There are enough examples on social media where you have people communicating to the right audience but the wrong things, right? So content is important, but the context of the content is equally important. In fact, there's another thing that I wanted to talk about here was SEO. The guys who get into SEO, and they put a whole lot of text on their sites. And they think now we'll get caught, so we'll be on the top in the Google search results. We'll have a lot of traffic, but they don't understand they may do their KRAs very well of getting traffic on the site by putting in a lot of content, but that traffic is not going to give them business. They're going to bounce out, and that will actually ruin the product guy's job. That if the traffic came, why didn't it convert? So the SEO friends who are here, stop putting content just to get Google traffic. In fact, Google is now penalizing people for putting a lot of content which is not relevant. But remember, in fact, this is a screenshot of a rhinoplasty surgeon. If you ever go and say rhinoplasty surgeons in Texas, this is one of the case studies, so I got a screenshot of good SEO. This guy has an empty home page. It has nothing. It's just the way he's built it. There's something called silo structures, etc., the way you build it. It's just the way he's built it. He's always second or third on the Google search results. So it's not always the content that helps you get good SEO. There are many, many other ways. Landing pages, very, very important. How many of us here design landing pages for emailers and Facebook campaigns and SEMs? Nobody. So you have a very safe job. Okay. So you know how numbers become very important there. I'm going to show you two examples, and I want you to tell me which one of these. So these are landing pages of email campaigns. This is the email campaign of some insurance company. You have to tell me which landing page, in your opinion, is going to get more conversions. This is one email. You click on this email. You land on this landing page. So we're all aware of landing pages, right? When you click on something and the page that you land on is typically a landing page. You land on this landing page, and this is where the scroll ends. So you have to scroll down to see this. So this is one example, which is Edelweiss Tokyo. This is another one. This is an email, Birla Sun Life. You click and you land on this landing page. According to you, which landing page, maybe you should answer this, will perform better? By performance better, I mean will give you more leads, people will fill in more form, more people will fill in the form, and you will have higher conversions. Do you think it's this one or this one? The second one. Second one? What? Okay. And the first one? Okay. There's no third one, so what are the others waiting for? Okay, why the second one? Okay, everything comes in the first scroll. Which is you're talking about the proceed. Sorry. Okay, so you're saying here you got to know the benefit. Okay, so what she's saying is there's better call to action in the second one, which is this one. Do we all agree? This one? Okay.
the number of fields in the second one?
How many?
Is there a comparison of the number of fields that you need to enter?
Number of fields are the same. Every insurance company needs exactly those fields. So that's an IRDA regulation. Can't do much about that. But yes, you're right. The second one got more conversions, and incidentally, it was also designed by us. So we feel proud about it. But the reasons are very clear. So when we're designing landing pages, or when we're looking at a consumer coming from one sort of information to another sort of information, and you want him to convert in the second page, it's very important to continue the journey. So if I've come to a page which looked like something, my second page should be completely coherent and connected. You can't give me a disconnected journey. That's one part of it. The second part of it is whatever you need me to do, put it right in front of me. Preferably the upper scroll. And so here also what happens is, if you notice, the image gets repeated. I've seen that image. When I click on it and you open it again, you haven't done any good by doing that, right? You could have, in fact, given me some more information, because when a consumer clicks on something, he expects to know more on the second page. If you give him exactly the same information, there's no benefit that he's drawn. Here, like somebody pointed out, there's a calculator. So I can real-time calculate. And the moment I calculate, I know the benefit. I've become your consumer. I've filled in the form and told you to send me more information or get someone to contact me. And also, maybe a minor thing, but what we also did when we designed this was, we kept the benefits below. So a lot of landing pages will first tell you the benefits. But you know what? If he didn't know the benefits, or if he didn't think the benefits were important, he wouldn't have clicked on the email itself. So the fact that he's clicked on the email, he knows the benefits. That's why he's taken the pain. Nobody in this busy life has time to click on emails. So the fact that he's clicked, he knows benefits. Please keep them below, just as an FYI. There's another concept that we talk about, which is perceived download time versus actual download time. We end up measuring the actual download time. Download hone mein kitna time laga. But there's something called a perceived download time, which is, if I'm enjoying what I'm seeing, it doesn't matter if it took 2 seconds, right? Which is more important than the actual download time. So this is one example of that. When you're watching a YouTube video, there is an ad that comes and it says you can skip it in 5 seconds. If you look at the analytics numbers, we see analytics numbers of a lot of our clients, people don't skip it if it's an interesting ad. And they skip it if they find it a very boring ad. Or in those 5 seconds, have you made him feel the download time is too long? Or it's the exact 5 seconds or 2 seconds, whatever the YouTube says. Have you made him feel that the download time is too long? Or have you made him feel the download time was too short? On that is dependent his pressing the skip button or not pressing the skip button. So you should stop measuring actual download time. You should start measuring the perceived download time. Show it to consumers. See what they say. Will they click a skip or will they not click a skip? You're spending a whole lot of money on YouTube commercials, right? So this little exercise can help you get a better ROI. Yeah, so, all right, that was about it. This was a presentation I made last night, so short and sweet. Any questions? Any questions on, am I on time? Great, not before time. Any questions on anything?
How comfortable are customers to run these click-to-run things? I mean, most of the time I'm sure they must be coming last minute for to get something done. I mean, when you test something, obviously you do a split run or beta or whatever, which will take time, right? I mean, how do you know whether it's working or not working? Because you have to run through 2 or 3 options. So how comfortable are customers in allowing you to do that?
So when we run betas are usually run in a way that 5% of a targeted population would see a certain kind of design and the other 95% will see the other design. So there's no customer buying in that. We just show them that design and we measure numbers on the back end.
So it doesn't delay the process, you then just change it
Correct.
depending
Then we
on
just
the
know
results.
which one to go live with. In fact, there are times when we run beta, and if you're sitting in office, you would see, in fact, you would have seen this recently with LinkedIn. I was seeing another page, my colleague on the next cabin was seeing another page because they were running a beta. And then you measure the analytics. No other questions? Yes. Products from a UX perspective, you mean online products? I think India of late has really come up with some good UX portals or UX products, both in the mobile and the web space. One of my favorites is Zomato, both in terms of their mobile and their web experience. I think Book My Show is another one that has done a very good job of understanding the consumers and creating a journey for them. If you've looked at the recent free charge mobile app also, I think actually I'm talking more of mobile because our clients have moved mobile, so we deal with more mobile now. Also in mobile, the important thing, the way you think mobile is very different from the way you think web. So what free charge or Book My Show does is, it doesn't look at the long tail, it looks at the mass, understands what the mass wants and designs for them. And that's the strategy I think we'll have to adopt. Yeah, we're all ready for coffee, is it?
We are running short of time, so no coffee break right now.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Just a second. That was insightful indeed. Now may I please request Mr. Jayant Shirsagar from SAP to please present a memento to Ms. Modgil. Please, put your hands together for her.